What to do with my mountain biking life? Here's something. Shenandoah Mountain 100, 22nd annual, September 6th. That's a Sunday. Alright, it's originally awesome. Cool. 100-mile race, 100-mile course map. Alright. This is interesting. Let's see here. We can transfer. How much does this thing cost? Oh, no, it's course map. No transfers. Picture ID. Where we go? Yeah, I know where Stokesville is. Thanks. Oh wait. All right, I see it. Let's just let's see what the event says. Shenandoah Mountain. Right. Okay. Oh, this is the worst web page I've ever seen. Made in 1993. All right. Where am I going? I go over here. Well, maybe this could be fun. I guess. Yeah. Let's do the Shenandoah Mountain 100 this year. That sounds good. Here goes. Here goes nothing. So I'm in. 100 miles. September 6th. Now I gotta go find that flow. What's up, you guys? Forrest here from the FoCo FlowShow with a daunting task ahead. As you saw, I have registered for the Shenandoah Mountain 100, and I thought it might be fun to give you guys some context for the race, and then throughout the course of this upcoming year leading to September 6th, give you guys an idea how training is going, what I'm doing to train, and keep you up to date as I prepare to suffer for 100 miles in the mountain. So we'll get right into it here. As I show you some of my first training rides of the year out at Sherman Branch Trail, just outside of northern Charlotte, North Carolina. For those of you who aren't familiar, the Shenandoah Mountain 100 is the crown jewel of the Virginia mountain biking race scene. It's a 100-mile race, as you see here with my buddy Mike's Strava results from the race that he did last year. It starts out in Stokesville, Virginia, right at Stokesville Campground. And as you can see there in the elevation profile, you've got 1, 2, 3, and then sort of 4 or 5 peaks that you need to traverse, covering all of the awesome riding in George Washington National Forest, connected via pavement and gravel road. You hit trails like Narrowback, you go up and over Lynn Trail and come back down Wolf Ridge, you go up and over Hankey Mountain, and up and around 250 to come down Braley's, and then you've got something there in the middle called the Death Climb, where you go all the way up to the West Virginia border on the backside, almost to Reddish Knob, before coming down Chestnut Ridge back to an intersection that gets you back and over, up and around Hankey, and down back to the campground. By all counts, this is going to be a soul-crushing endeavor. You see all the millions of different segments there that you're going to accumulate, of course, over 100 miles of some of the most famous trails in Virginia and George Washington National Forest. So looks to be a daunting task that I'm going to have to spend a lot of time training for. There's a lot of guys that come out here and crush this. As a cross-country race, my goal is going to be to finish the race and survive the race. I have registered with actually with my neighbor who's going to do it with me, Mr. Jim. We're going to keep each other going while we're out there. Here's a zoom in of the map again, looking back at that elevation profile. That's Narrowback going up, and then you come back up and down. Half of the trip up to Reddish Knob and gravel back across Tillman, and then over Hankey Mountain right here, all the way down to the Braley Pond. That's the Magic Dowell downhill segment over and around. and then this sort of starts that death climb all the way up to Bald Knob before you start that Chestnut Ridge descent. Fortunately, this is a supported race. You got 6 sag stops, fully stocked with gear and technicians and supplies, so that should help us a little bit, but it's definitely going to be challenging as we go after the completion of this race. For context, I am far from a racer, cross-country guy on the mountain bike trails, but I do have a little bit of experience with endurance long-term adventure races, having completed the Pisgah Mountain Bike Adventure Race Pin-Bar back in 2017 with my buddy Jay. That was a 60-mile adventure race where the course is not marked out. You just have checkpoints you have to get to in a certain amount of time, and you have to navigate your way through. You have to carry all of your food and your water and supplies, and you've got to, if you run out of water, you've got to filter your own water out of the creeks nearby the trail, and you got to navigate to the checkpoints without any guidance or outside support. The SM100 is going to be a little bit different because it's supported, and the route will be mapped out, and there's a little bit more pavement and road there compared to Pin-Bar. But as you can see here from the picture, we managed to finish Pin-Bar with 30 minutes to spare, spending 13 and a half hours in the woods. So I anticipate a similar amount of time in the woods, if not a little bit more, for SM, but hoping that the training regimen we put together will get us ready for this one as well. So as far as training goes, there's going to be a whole lot of this. There's no replacement for time in the saddle. There's no replacement for riding on the trails. On a normal week when I'm not training, I'm trying to get on the trail 2 days a week, if I'm lucky 3, normal rides 6 to 8 miles. The plan for training for the SM100 is going to be a minimum of 3 trail rides per week. And that's going to require getting up at 5 a.m. and getting on the trail at 5:30 in the morning, or getting the kids to bed at 8 o'clock at night, and then doing night rides that traverse the city on the RT trail. And then there's a few other things that we're going to do. We're going to add at least 1 indoor cycling sprint class at the YMCA per week to build power and strength in the legs.
We sprint. Go! As fast as you can.
As silly as it sounds, I actually really like the indoor cycling class because you get these data metrics from each class, and you can actually track your progress. You can see how much power you're building. And of course, you can't forget about the relative bike handling skills that you're going to need to traverse the mountains here. So hope to improve quite a bit on some of the feature riding and just that general bike handling skills, like wheelies and stuff like that. And as we finish up here, the last 2 things I'm going to implement into my training plan is so once a month, make a trip out to Stokesville and the area where the course is going to be run, and start building in some longer rides. So like I said, once a month we'll get out there, put in a 20-mile ride, next month 30-mile ride, 40-mile ride, 50-mile ride. I mean, I've got about 6 months to build up to get to race day. So the training needs to be slow and incremental, and slowly build in the endurance needed as I build the power through the other training regimens. I'm also going to register for a couple of other races. They've got the Stupid 50 race that's out in that same area, part of the same trails. There's an enduro race or 2 that I want to do. So I think that'll help get everything mentally ready as well as physically ready for the race on September 6th. So as we finish up here on Sherman Branch, just wanted to take a second and say thanks for watching. If you like the content, please make sure that you like and subscribe. I'll be following up maybe once a month with some additional training updates and videos on how training is going. I'll have other videos, tons of other stuff that you're familiar with from the show. But want to keep you guys up to date. And if you're racing in it, comment below. We'd love to see you guys out there. They've got an entire festival that weekend. That's going to be a lot of fun. But in the meantime, you don't have to race to have fun on your bike. Just make sure you get out there and find that flow.